Well, we're writing this book, and it's a complete surprise to me because I moved to Hawaii and was expecting really to semi-retire. And then you and I, we did stumble on this not knowing what it was. I guess a little background is helpful. So Hannah and I had moved to Hawaii 5 years ago. And objectively, I had everything I wanted. I refer to it as the 3 H's, right? I was in Hawaii, I had my health, and I had Hannah, my wife. That's the 3rd H. So I had everything, and I really thought life would be great, but I actually was feeling kind of depressed. I was depressing myself. Moving here was a big change in my life. And then I started to think, why am I not thrilled to be alive? And I started asking that question every day. Am I thrilled to be alive? And the more I asked it, the more I noticed things that were wondrous and beautiful and reasons why I should be thrilled to be alive. And it was such a profound experience that I decided to teach a course. And you know that because you ended up joining the course. And in that course, I was asking people to meditate. You remember that? I was asking people to meditate 10 minutes a day.
Right.
And people were saying, oh, I don't have 10 minutes a day. I can't do that. And so I came up with this idea of, well, can you do a micro meditation? Just meditate for 10, 20, 30 seconds. And people did that. And at the end of the course, what was so remarkable is the people who only meditated 30 seconds were having results as profound as the people who were meditating 10 minutes a day. And then you came up with a great idea. Do you remember?
I came up with the idea of calling this microdosing mindfulness.
Right. And so we were really excited, this idea of microdosing mindfulness as a new intervention, a new way to help people who have a hard time meditating 10, 20, 30 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
And we then decided to test this.
Right.
And you were actually here, I think, 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, about 3.5 years ago, I flew over to Hawaii. In my background, I'm a mindfulness trained teacher and was leading a meditation group and had taught mindfulness to hundreds of patients and shared with you that I had the exact same problem. People just could not find 10 minutes a day to practice mindfulness or meditation.
And that's when we decided to do the pilot projects.
Right.
So you did a pilot with your pain patients. I did a pilot with my clients. We asked them to basically practice what we called microdosing mindfulness,
Yep.
right, which was a way to experience awe. And we got amazing results.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, we analyzed our first set of data and we were in awe of the improvement we saw with anxiety and depression, people's experience of chronic symptoms of pain, of stress and well-being. It was just remarkable.
And at the time, we didn't know it was awe. You remember, we were talking about microdosing mindfulness, and then we backed into it. We deconstructed it, and we said what people are describing is a moment of awe.
Right.
And that's when we came up with the acronym AWE, which stands for attention, wait, exhale, and expand. And that became the awe method.
Correct.
Right? And that's ended up why we ended up writing the book.
Yeah.
Right. And then you took the initiative to go find Dacher Keltner, who's kind of the big awe researcher. And you talked to him about, you can explain it better than I can.
Yeah, I had this really kind of nice, friendly breakfast with Dacher, and I shared with him our initial pilot data, and he was just blown away by
Remember what he said?
results.
How he described it?
He told us that this is the future of mindfulness.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he was saying that because people don't have the time in the world today to sit down and meditate. So
Right.
he was saying, you guys have come up with something that will get people to meditate even if they have a busy or overwhelming life.
Right. Yeah, it's incredible because we never planned to write a book.
No.
We were just really curious about this idea of exploring microdosing mindfulness, and from the creativity of our ideas, we decided to do a pilot, and then from that we partnered with Dacher Keltner at UC Berkeley at the Greater Good Science Center and conducted...
Well, and then the big thing that happened, the pandemic. And you and I both weren't able to work the way we did normally, and yet we saw a lot of people in crisis, particularly frontline healthcare workers at your hospital. And so we were starting to say, what can we do? How could we help these people?
Right.
And that's when we put together the study at UC Berkeley.
Yeah, it was an incredible experience for us to go from this idea of a study to actually starting the study within about 6 weeks.
Right.
We recruited several hundred medical doctors and nurses from around the country that were really struggling and suffering with depression and anxiety and burnout from the pandemic, as well as almost 400 patients from my hospital and their friends and family were enrolled in the study as well.
Yeah, and it's really because of the study and the results we got that were so surprisingly positive that we ended up deciding to write a book. I mean, neither of us were planning to do that. but the results were so impressive, it really took on a life of its own.
It did.
This has been a very organic process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.